the next thing I'm going to do is take care of the hole that I need to drill into the battery tray. So I'm going to Hey guys, welcome back to Revolution XRC. Today we're going to take a look at putting more upgrades on this RC four-wheel drive TF2 Marlin. Today we're going to look at adding the A&M Garage high clearance flat skid. Now before I continue with adding on this A&M Garage flat skid, I'm going to remove all the electronics from this chassis, as these are none of the electronics I will be using. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that up and give myself some more space. Alright, I removed all the electronics from this chassis, and let's take a look at what's included in the A&M Garage high clearance skid. Comes in this bag here. Alright, so we've got the skid plate right here. Might paint this later, but for now we'll just keep it as is. This is the transfer case mount. This mounts on top of the battery tray in I guess a lot of different configurations. You will have to drill a hole in the battery tray depending on the configuration. I believe this configuration you need to drill a hole right there. There is a hole in the chassis underneath, so just something to be aware of. Anyway, you also get the hardware, and let's take a look at what's inside. Alright, so we've got, let's see, I don't know what length these are. They look like M3x6. Probably M3x6, I believe. A bunch of M3x6 screws. I want to say they're M3x6, but I'm not quite sure because I haven't actually measured them. These look to be M3x10s. So three M3x10s and a bunch of M3x6s. A little riser right there. And an M3 lock nut. Alright, first things first, let's get the transfer case dismounted, and let's go figure out how we can mount it to this transfer case mount here and mount it to the battery in the proper position that we need. So I'm gonna remove the transfer case for now, and we'll be right back. Alright, I've got the transfer case removed from the chassis. The next thing I'm going to do is take care of the hole that I need to drill into the battery tray. So I'm going to mock up this transfer case mount right here and drill a hole in this position right here. Now the chassis rail does have a hole underneath that battery tray that you can screw into. So let's go ahead and do that. Once again, I'm just mocking this up for now, just so I could figure out where to drill that hole. Alright, now I'm just going to mark the area where that hole needs to be drilled. Alright, so you can see here that I've marked the area that needs to be drilled through the battery tray. And if you remove the battery tray, you'll see that there's a hole that corresponds to this hole that I'm about to drill right here. There's a hole right there. So the battery tray goes there, and there's a hole right underneath on that chassis. So I'm going to drill a hole through this, and we'll be right back. Alright, I just finished drilling a hole through the battery tray. Now if I lay the battery tray on top where the original holes are, you'll see that the hole that I drilled will go straight through to the chassis rail. Okay, I'm going to put some of these battery tray screws back. Alright, I'm going to put some of these screws back on the battery tray first and mount the battery tray back up to the chassis. That's good. Alright, now with the battery tray partially mounted, we're going to need the 3 10mm bolts provided with the kit. So let me grab those out. We'll also need the spacers. This one right here. And this one right here. Alright, for the next step, you'll need these parts right here, these 3 M3x10 screws, the M3 lock nut, the spacers, as well as the transfer case mount, sorry. Alright, the first thing you want to do, this goes right here, and this goes somewhere right here. Good. Alright, the transfer case mount is mounted up to the battery tray. Now we're going to take care of the transfer case, and we're going to have to open it up and reverse the output of the transfer case drive shaft to this side, because in essence it was like this, but we're going to be mounting it upside down. So we're going to mount it up like this, keep the drive shafts on the same side, but we're going to reverse this output to this side so it matches how it was previously. Swapped it over. That's pretty much it. The output shaft is now on the other side. We can go ahead and put it back together. Okay, with the output for the transfer case drive shaft reversed, we're ready to mount up the transfer case to the transfer case mount. And you'll see here that it mounts up just like that. So now we'll need to screw this transfer case back onto this mount. To do that, we'll use the remaining screws, which I believe are all M3x6. There. Make sure that everything seems good and there's no binding. Alright, here with the transfer case mounted, you can see how this is supposed to be set up. Should be like that. See that spacer underneath that transfer case mount? Here's the underside. And you want to make sure that there's no binding. Make sure that it studs freely, which it does. And with that said, we're ready to add the high clearance skid, which should go right up over here with this long cutout right here for the drive shaft. And you can use the remaining M3x6 screws to screw the rest in. So let's go ahead and do that. And of course we'll want to use thread lock since this is going into the chassis rail. Alright, and with that we are done installing the A&M Garage high clearance skid. You can see that it is higher up in clearance than the stock skid, as well as giving you a nice long flat surface so that it doesn't get hung up at that one original skid where there's a gap between the tire and the skid. Now that you've got this long skid where after the ledge hits the tires and moves off the tires, it'll hit the skid for the length of the skid and then move off to the rear tires. So overall a worthy upgrade. Definitely can't wait to get this running, but this concludes this part of the build series for this RC 4-wheel drive Trailfinder 2 Marlin, the A&M Garage high clearance skid, and the transfer case mount to clear that high clearance skid. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for future updates on this RC 4-wheel drive TF2 Marlin build. Thanks for watching.